Christopher, you and I have a whole bunch of things in common. First, we both need to eat to survive. Second, number of limbs. We have the 5 limbs. Sad. We also love movies. Chris and I talk about movies all the time. We're both movie buffs. What's one of your favorite genre of movies?
Horror movies.
Yeah, I love horror movies. They're great. They're great. I was actually lucky enough to have lunch twice recently with Guillermo del Toro here in Toronto. It was awesome. I know that's another story, but he's a big Magic fan. Kind of cool. But one of my favorite genre of movies is very narrow. Is submarine movies. I love the old time There's something about men and women trapped in underwater in a tube. There's Das Boot, which I love. It's cool. Hunt for Red October, I think is pretty cool. If you haven't seen, check it out. There's that Metal Tube of Greasy Joy, very popular film, particularly in Denmark. I love submarine movies. I love them. I love them. So we're going to actually, kind of as a homage to submarine movies, we're going to do a little trick right here. Deck can be shuffled. Better yet, the deck can be thrown away or set on fire. Chris, do you have name a pair, like a pair of cards? 2 4s, 2 8s, 2 kings. 2 kings. Okay, 2 kings. And I could have done tricks. It's a shuffled deck. Deck can be examined, all that. 2 kings. Take them. We're going to slip them not near the top or near the middle, but down near the bottom of the deck. Okay. There we go. Do this quite slowly. There they are. And Chris, I'm going to spread out the cards near the top, and I'm going to lean right in here. I'd like you to touch one for me. Let's see here. We'll try to stay right there. Okay, I'm going to slowly come up. Give you guys a chance. Okay. See the card. Chris's card. Now I'm going to leave Chris's card sticking out of the pack and actually leave it sticking out near the top. And I want you to see there's probably about 30 cards between Chris's card and the 2 kings. I want this to be as fair. I'm going to go slowly because so often magicians are accused of doing things quickly, fast hands. I'm going to move the kings. Not only do we know there are about 30 cards between Chris's card and the kings, but I'm going to move the kings all the way to the back of the deck. Very slowly, like that. Okay? 2 kings are still there. Chris's card right there. Now, between Chris's card and the bottom of the deck, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. We know about 30 cards. I'm going to have Chris's card dive. Auga, auga, dive, dive, dive. It's that submarine sound from the old days. From the old days, rather than from the future days. That'd be very odd. He's an oracle. I'm going to have Chris's card dive and actually pass down like a steel claw through water. It'll pass down. And let's see what happens here. Watch. You're going to see it happen, okay? I'm going to keep it in full view. I'm not going to cover it with a hank or a foulard. Here we go. Chris's card. Auga, auga, dive, 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 dive. You saw it happen. Went in near the top, came out near the bottom. Nothing suspicious. Going to do this very slowly, spreading through the 30 cards it melted through. Look, 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 look. Not only did it go down near the 2 kings, but it's actually between the 2 kings. No funny moves. Chris's card. I love this. I love this. And for me, it's so important to share with you guys things I'm passionate about. I know a bunch of tricks. I know a bunch of things and this and that. But, I kind of think to myself, okay, what can I share this week? What turns me on that's going to turn them on? And I love this trick. It's simple. It's clear. There's such a time lapse between when they select the card and when it appears between the 2 cards. It's so visual, but not in the usual sense that we do magic where it's visual, where there's a flash and something happens, or it's quick. There's actually this 1-2, this impossible 1-2 beat about it. I do this 3 inches from someone's face, especially if I'm just working one-on-one and we're both nude and there's cash on the table. I do it close. There's so much about this I like. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a couple of hot tips. This is also something I've used as a bit of self-promotion for many years. You'll see a cool idea here. This is not even a variation. This is Earl Nelson's. Sandwich tricks and these kinds of tricks have been around for many, many years. And I'm pretty sure this is probably Earl Nelson's twist on something else. It uses an old principle called the plunger principle, where 2 cards with a card between them and how you can use this to do sort of rising cards and card changes and things. So the plunger principle is much older than myself or Earl Nelson. But many years ago, I got a book, Earl Nelson's wonderful book, Variations. It's a fascinating book because you can flip through it and it looks okay, card tricks and this and that. It doesn't look that different than a bunch of other books. But there is a magic in the book. There is a simplicity of the effects, a directness, really usable stuff, worth your consideration. And this is the Submarine Sandwich from Earl Nelson's wonderful book. And let's jump in. I want to share with you the presentational ideas, some handling ideas, and the hot and sexy tip at the end regarding self-promotion. So step one, they name a favorite, hopefully not a favorite pair. What's your favorite pair? Well, don't bring my wife into this. What's your favorite pair of cards? So name a two of a kind. And I don't just go name a two of a kind because I find lay people often go, what do you mean a two of a kind? So I go, name your two of a kind, 2 kings, 2 tens, and there's this sense of, oh, okay, that's what you mean. And let's say they name 2 kings, let's say, for example, like Criss did. I do like the kings, it's nice, or queens. Face cards are nice contrast. So the deck's been shuffled, the deck's been examined, hopefully I haven't done too many card tricks. When you get a pair of cards out, I think it's nice to get the same color, but not required, okay? So I've got these 2 here. Got my 2 kings, and I take them and I say, look, I'm going to put these, and you really want to emphasize, I'm not going to just put them in the deck. No, I'm going to put them right down near the bottom. And you put them right down near the bottom, like that, okay? Then you spread out, and you're going to, and I've taught this on a few tricks here in the channel, you're going to do this elegant, this is the only slight. This is Ed Marlowe's Convincing Control. I also know that Simon Aronson has done a bunch of really beautiful work on this. Spread out the cards, have a card touched, and you're going to tell them, you're going to keep the kings near the bottom, and I want you to touch a card near the top. Okay? So you spread out. I don't do this and slowly, because if they touch the first or second card, your Convincing Control is going to be next to impossible. So I always push off a block of 4 or 5 cards, and then I'm all good to go in here, and they touch a card. And the Convincing Control is one of these techniques that people can change their mind. And I really like in a performance, whenever I can give someone a choice of any kind. Do you want to touch another card? Do you want to use a quarter or a nickel for this one? Do you want to use an iguana or maybe a small bit of lint? What do you want to do? And so here they can touch a card. No, you want to change your mind, this one here, and they can go back and forth. When they finally decide on a card, what you need to do is you need to break the deck. Okay? And notice, you want to have a couple of cards neatly lined up. You can't do the Convincing Control from a single card like this, okay, or from a bunch of cards that are all kind of messy like that. You really have to, whatever they choose in the end, you want to make sure what you have is basically a nice 3 or 4 cards, sort of like that, okay? So they touched a card. Are you sure that's the one you want? I use my thumb, okay, because this is confusing. Are you sure you want that one? Well, what's going on here? Keep these kings, that one there. Now I come up. Now, if you come up here and show it to them, and then bring this up here, it looks a bit suspicious, okay? What you can do is this one here and bring everything up to show at the same time. What I like to do in live performance, as opposed to at a cemetery, what I like to do is bring up and show, get the best of both worlds, and say, okay, keep this card in mind. And I'm ostensibly bringing the left hand up to point, okay? And then you isolate that card. Now you want to make it look like this card is being left behind as you move your hand down, okay? So you're up here, you want to make it look like it's being left behind. But what you actually do is you're going to leave the card above the card, the second card. You're going to slide their selection to the left with the right fingers, to my right, sorry. To my right with my right finger, slide down and leave the card isolated while this card is slipped below, okay? Now this is not a hard move, but it is one of those that requires mirror practice because you got to watch your timing. You don't want to go too quickly, look suspicious. And if you go too slowly, of course, you're going to get caught. They're going to see that as you come down. So it's a timing thing. It's a timing where they see the card, and as you come down, you do it, and then immediately, in a continue action, you push off the cards. And here I'm pushing off the cards as I say, you know, there's got to be a good 20, 30 cards between your selection and the king's. And their selection is still below, right? I push, and as I say, 20, 30 cards down to the kings here. And I'm just spreading the kings just enough so I can slip the corner of the selection below this king and between the two kings. Okay? And all that happens under cover down here. Okay, it's here. I've got that. And I can feel the selection going between the kings. Then I close everything up. And as I close everything up, I really, almost again, in almost a continuing action, I immediately move the kings to the side so we can see them. Okay? Now, right now, they're convinced there's their card. They touched any card they want from a shuffled deck. You've just mentioned that you love the old Submarine movies. They're wondering where this is going. You've got your two kings here with the selection secretly between them. You are so far ahead. Now, what I love, I think some of the best magic tricks combine good scripts, a little bit of sleight of hand, a little bit of physics, a little bit of optics, timing, bring that all together. And of course, most importantly, your unique personality or perspective on the world. And you can share that just with a line or two, an action. It requires very little for you to share your unique take on the world. And that's what makes magic an art. If you don't invest anything of yourself that's unique, it can be very entertaining, it can be wonderful, but it is not artistic, in my view. Okay? In fact, so we're going to leave that there. We know there are 30 cards between. I really emphasize, in fact, we'll leave the kings way down here. I mean, how clear is all that? I square things up. Now, the plunger principle is this. By applying, you don't want the deck super, super loose, okay? But nor do you want to push down too firmly. Somewhere between the two, by pressing down a little bit with your thumb, what you'll find is when you push this in, with a little bit of pressure here and you push the kings, the card, the selection between will be pushed forward. Now, if you have the wrong pressure, what you're going to find sometimes, okay, with the wrong pressure, you're going to find sometimes that the kings will go in, but this will either only come out a little bit, or I even had situations where the selection doesn't even come out. And then it's a whole, now, the trick's not totally ruined, you can still press down through, but it's nowhere near as good. So you have to keep an eye on the pressure, okay? Our situation at this point is I've got the kings as far out as I can, pretty much, okay? Their selection's here. Now, sight lines are key in magic, right? So notice, if I do the trick here, and I go, ooga, ooga, dive, dive, and I push it in here, and push it out here at the same time, okay? They can't see the drop down, because it's not as evident, okay? They can't see the distance and the travel and all that. And that's really what's going to get gasps and screams and all that kind of great stuff. So, what you need to remember to do, let me get this all set up here, sorry. Here we go, we got our selection, we got our kings, we're here. What you need to do, I got this up here, the indifferent card, okay? Rather than holding it like this, you need to hold it like that. Really, and I'm not sure the exact angle Chris has got with the camera here, but that's the best way, and this should only really be about 10 cards down if you're lucky. That's going to be the best way for people to really see as this card. So really, if they're standing up and, if you're standing up and you're the size of a midget like I am, you may want to tilt it up to where they are. But you need to really angle it. This will make all the difference. And if you've got a group of 10, 15 people, then you need to move it around. If you're doing it, Gesundheit, Chris. I find whenever I do, the convincing control makes him sneeze. I don't know why. If, on the other hand, you're only working for 2 people, then you can really lean right in and put it in their face. So you're here, this wonderful magic moment. The old films, I'm going to make your card sink into the water, sink down through the cards like a submarine. Watch. Auga, auga, dive, dive, dive. And people catch it like crazy. Notice it creates a bit of tension, doing those weird sound effects. And tension needs to be released with a joke, with a magic moment, and that'll boost the reaction significantly. With no tension, your reactions will not be as big. Okay, there's lots of ways to work that. But so you push it in here, or maybe with this finger if you want, or even have them push it in. Second later, you push the kings forward, and they see it drop ½ inch to the pack. Pause. Give them, this is where you want to be ruthless. Don't move into patter, don't immediately start to move the cards. Pause. Create that tension. You'll see, literally, you'll see in people's faces, no way, no way, no way. Oh my God, that didn't just happen. What am I looking at? What just happened? Then slowly spread. Now, notice if I drop down to this, I'm I'm watering down what just happened, whereas in performance with real people, if I maintain that perspective and push through slowly here, making sure they can't say later I switched cards or anything, okay? Now, I'm here. I can leave the kings here, keep the moment and have them turn it, or I can turn it, right? Or I can remove these cards in a way to kind of emphasize this is all, it just went through all these cards. And then to here, and maybe to here, and then to here. So there's real virtues to different ways to isolate it. And then of course at the end, you know, or you could have them turn it over, or you could do one of these things, which I like to do in a stand-up show setting. Here, don't even turn that over. Just come up. Here's the other thing I wanted to mention to you too, and that is your business cards. There's a bunch of sandwich tricks out there, not many, but some that you can perform with your business cards, okay? And this trick, just with 2 standard business cards, you can actually perform this trick not with 2 selected cards, but with 2 of your business cards. I just take them out. I don't even say they're my, and every time I take them out and do, people always ask, can I have one? Or sometimes, can you autograph that? My ego loves that. Oh wow, star for a moment. So what a great thing you can do. You can even do it if 2 credit cards, or even use 2 pieces of cardboard, cut this size, have people write their names on them, get them involved. Oh, and I also wanted to make sure I conveyed to you guys a huge thank you. Super humbling. Thank you so much. The response to my new Connect and Influence Psychology channel has been amazing. I frankly thought in the last week or 2 over the holidays, maybe a few hundred, maybe 500, maybe 1,000. Close to 3,000 of you have subscribed to my brand new channel. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the interest. I know a big part of that is you're excited to learn some of the psychology behind what I do and connecting with people. If you haven't subscribed to the new channel, first there's a $5,000 contest, so that is motivation 1. And there's a bunch of, Criss and I have taped a bunch of new videos, gonna be putting them up probably once a week very, very soon. I'm gonna be talking about the power of pauses. How you can use pauses when performing for people to really influence, to control, to focus. There's a lot of psychology there that's going to make your magic more powerful. Making your magic about them and not about you. On this channel, I've already talked a bit about that, but I'm going to really crack this egg open. We're going to look at the yolk. That makes sense? Going to look at the yolk of this important idea about making your interaction with people about them and not about you. Transitioning between tricks without losing your audience. Transitions are huge, both with magic and non-magic, any kind of presentation, any conversation. At a business meeting, making a pitch. Transitions are lethal. How can you make sure you keep people's attention? Got a video on that coming up. How to be more authentic when you perform. That's huge. That's one of the most important things you'll find to make your magic powerful is your own authenticity. So how to become more authentic. Got a video of that coming up. Accessing your unique creativity. A lot of you I know are really interested in trying to figure out how to make your magic more creative, more special, more unique. I'm going to talk about that. The 12 principles of public speaking. You know, again, I don't care if you're just a bit, you know, not just, but if you're into magic, you're into mentalism. Public speaking in school, in business. If you got 200 kids and you want to talk to them, that counts as public speaking. For any of that, that's all coming up on the new Connect and Influence channel. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. I'll leave a link here, or maybe there, maybe I could somewhere else, I'll leave the link.